Hello students, welcome to today's class, that is electrolyte imbalance. The previous class we have discussed regarding fluid imbalance, isn't it? No. In this class we'll see what are the electrolyte imbalance. Okay, what are the electrolytes in our body? Sodium, magnesium, phosphorus, calcium, isn't it? No. Those are the electrolytes. If it is impaired in our body, that we call electrolyte imbalance. Now we'll see one by one in detail. Okay, see, these are the sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium are the examples for the electrolytes. Okay, electrolytes are measured in the milli-equivalent per liter of water. What is MEQ, which indicates milli-equivalent. Okay, milli-equivalent per liter of water. Okay, this is how we measure the electrolytes. Okay, first we'll see sodium. Okay, what is the normal concentration of the sodium is 135 to 145 milli-equivalent per liter. Now we'll see first what are the normal concentration. Then we discuss regarding the abnormal electrolyte conditions. Okay, this is what normal concentration in the blood. 135 to 145 milli-equivalent per liter. And next we'll see potassium. What is the normal concentration of the potassium is 3.5 to 5.3 milli-equivalent per liter. Okay, next we'll see calcium. What is the normal concentration of the calcium? Why the calcium is important? Because calcium is the most abundant element in the body, isn't it? No. Then one more thing, calcium is an extracellular fluid and regulated by the action of parathyroid glands. Okay, this is all we know by anatomy, no? Isn't it? So then we'll see what is the normal concentration of the calcium in our body. That is 4 to 5 milli-equivalent per liter. This is what the normal concentration of the calcium in the blood. Okay, 4 to 5 milli-equivalent per liter. Next we'll see magnesium. What is the normal concentration of the magnesium is 1.5 to 2.4 milli-equivalent per liter. Next we'll see phosphate. What is the normal concentration of the phosphate is 2.5 to 4.5 milli-equivalent per liter. Next we'll see chloride. What is the normal concentration of the chloride? 100 to 106 milli-equivalent per liter. Now we'll see what are the abnormal conditions related to sodium now. Okay. See, the sodium is a normal range, as we all know, 135 to 145 milli-equivalent per liter, isn't it? It is a primary regulator of a extracellular fluid volume. Okay. Now the conditions. See, if it is, this is a normal range, isn't it? No. If it is less than 135 milli-equivalent per liter, that we call hyponatremia. If it is exceed 145 milli-equivalent per liter, that we call hypernatremia. Very simple. This is what the normal range. If it is less, also abnormal. If it is more, also abnormal. Then we use the term hypo or hyper. This is the normal range. Clear? Now we'll see the conditions. What is the hyponatremia? What is that? Pronounce with me only. Hyponatremia means the sodium level is less than 135 milli-equivalent per liter. That we call hyponatremia. What are the causes for this hyponatremia? Is a vomiting, excessive vomiting, and the diarrhea, as well as the sweating and the use of the excessive diuretics. Okay, these are the causes for what is that? Sodium. Okay, then we call this hyponatremia. The clinical manifestations is a poor skin, turgor, decreased saliva production, dry mucosa, anorexia or vomiting. Okay, these are the clinical manifestation. Also, orthostatic hypotensions, nausea or abdominal cramping, altered mental status, confusions, lethargy. Okay, these are the clinical manifestations. Now we'll see what are the nursing interventions. First, we had to assess the clinical manifestations. Okay, clinical signs and symptoms. Then monitor the fluid intake and output chart as well as the vital signs and the lab data also. And encourage the food and fluid in a high in sodium. So if it is what happened now in the hyponatremia, means less sodium in the body. So what we have to encourage? Eat more sodium food, isn't it? No, the sodium rich food we have to eat. Means what? Consumption of the salt. Okay, pickle items like that. Then limit the water intake. Okay, limit the water intake. Why? The dilution will happen. If the patient has drink a lot of water, what happen? Dilution of the sodium has taken place. Then again the urine will, again diarrhea will happen, isn't it? No. So we have to encourage the patient to take the food and fluid with high in the sodium. Clear now? These are the nursing interventions related to hyponatremia. Now we'll see what do you mean by hypernatremia. See, hypernatremia. Natremia related to sodium. Hyper means excessive. Here sodium level is more than 145 milliequivalent per liter. That we call hypernatremia. Understood now? Okay. Now we'll see what are the causes. See, loss of fluids, water deprivation, excessive salt intake, conditions like diabetic insipidus, heat stroke. Okay, these are the causes. So pathophysiology is not needed for you. Now we'll see what is the clinical manifestations. Severe thirst. Okay, sticky mucosal membrane, flushed skin, postural hypotension, dry, swollen tongue. See, have you seen the swollen tongue here? Okay, these are all the signs and symptoms in the condition of hypernatremia. And we'll see what are the nursing interventions. Monitor the intake output chart, monitor the behavioral changes, monitor the lab findings, encourage the fluid, and monitor the diet as ordered is a salt restricted diet because the body contains high sodium. So what we have to do? Tell the patient to take salt restricted diet. Okay, these are the nursing interventions. Now we'll see potassium. Okay, potassium abnormalities. Normal serum potassium concentration, as we all know, is a 3.5 to 5.5 milliequivalent per liter. If it is less, that is condition we called. This is more, what we called hypokalemia. Isn't it? Hypokalemia and hyperkalemia, this is abnormal condition. So major intracellular electrolyte. Okay, ICF, electrolyte is what is that? Are potassium. Okay, 98% of the body's potassium is inside the cell, and the potassium rich food is a banana. Okay, what is the normal condition is a 3.5 to 5.5. It is less, we call hypokalemia. If it is more than 5.5 milliequivalent per liter, that we called hyperkalemia. Now we'll see, first is a hypokalemia. Pronounce with me, hypokalemia. Good. Then what do you mean by hypokalemia? So which K which indicates, what is that? Potassium. Whereas Na which indicates sodium. Isn't it? No. So the potassium level is less than 3.5 milliequivalent per liter. That we call hypokalemia. So what are the causes? There's a loss of potassium ion in the form of the vomiting. Okay, in the condition of vomiting and gastrointestinal suction, poor potassium intake, using of diuretics, steroid administrations, these are the causes. What are the clinical manifestations? The muscle weakness, leg cramps, leg pain, fatigue, lethargy, anorexia, nausea and vomiting, decreased bowel sounds, decreased bowel motility, and cardiac dysrhythmia. Okay, these are the clinical manifestations. What are the nursing interventions? Monitor the heart rate and the rhythm. Monitor the clients receiving the digitalis is a kind of drug. Okay, you will gonna learn in the next year all this digitalis, all the pharmacology things. But you should know in the condition of what? In the hypovolemia, hypokalemia, what are the drugs they have to take. Clear, no? So this is what we call digitalis. And administer the oral potassium as ordered with the food and fluid. Administer the IV potassium as ordered. Flow rate not more than 10 to 20 milliequivalent per hour. Teach the patients about the potassium-rich diet and to reduce the potassium weightage. What are the potassium-rich food here? Yes, banana, which contain high potassium level. Okay, concentration. Okay, next we'll see hyperkalemia. Hyperkalemia means what? Potassium level more than 5.5 milliequivalent per liter. That we call hyperkalemia. See, the monkey may get hyperkalemia because it's gonna have, the one bunch of banana, isn't it? No, the excessive potassium in the blood level, that is more than 5.5 milliequivalent per liter, that we call hyperkalemia. So then we'll see what are the causes. So decreased renal potassium excretion as seen with a renal failure and the oliguria. High potassium intake, okay, renal insufficiency. Okay, these are this much you keep it in your mind. Okay, these are the causes. Okay, also we can say shift of the potassium out of the cell seen in the acidosis. Clear? So shifting of the potassium out of the cell. Okay, out of the cell, that we one of the causes for this hyperkalemia. Okay, what is the clinical manifestation? Again, in the hypokalemia, the skeletal cramps is there, isn't it? No, but here what happened? Weakness is there. Okay, in the hyperkalemia is a skeletal muscle weakness, paralysis, and ECG changes such as the peaked T wave, widened the QRS complex. Just you say abnormal ECG changes, that is enough. Okay, these things you can't understand, you're gonna learn in the next year. But you say abnormal ECG changes and a skeletal muscle weakness, or we can say paralysis and a heart block. These are the clinical manifestations. Now we'll see what are the nursing interventions. So monitor the ECG changes, administer the calcium solutions to neutralize the potassium, monitor the muscle tone, okay, give the oxalates, give a insulin, okay, and some of the drugs. Okay, this is we call nursing interventions. Now we'll see regarding calcium imbalance. So normal serum calcium level is how much? 4 to 5 milliequivalent per liter. More than 99% of the body's calcium is located in the skeletal muscle, that we all know. Then what is the abnormal condition is hypocalcemia. See, hypokalemia is different. Not just you observe here. Calcium, that we call calcemia. There kalemia is related to potassium. Calcemia is related to calcium. Clear? Don't confuse with this kalemia and calcemia. Calcemia, which indicates calcium. Only kalemia, which indicates potassium. Understood? Now we'll see what you mean by hypocalcemia. The calcium level is less than 4 milliequivalent per liter, that we call hypocalcemia. What are the causes? Vitamin D or calcium deficiency, primary or surgery, hyperparathyroidism, pancreatitis, renal failure. What do you mean by pancreatitis? Inflammation of the pancreas. Okay, due to some abnormal conditions, due to some abnormality regarding thyroid, all the hypo and hypercalcemia is a result. Clear, no? Okay, then what are the clinical manifestations? Tetany and the cramps in the muscles of extremities is very, very important. Once your body had this condition, that is hypocalcemia, means what? Losing of a calcium. What happened? Tetany will happen, muscle pain has happened, cramps will happen. Clear, no? This is what the clinical manifestations. See, this is what the conditions: tetany, muscle cramps. Have you seen the picture? Is also one of the sign of the hypocalcemia. The cheek twitching. Have you seen here? Twitching will happen if it is less than calcium level in the body. Okay. Sometimes what happens? The seizure will come. Mental changes will happen. Clear? This is what the signs of the abnormal calcium level or hypocalcemia. So what are the nursing interventions in the hypocalcemia? That is IV, or we can say per oral calcium carbonate or the calcium gluconate. They have to supplement and encourage the increased dietary intake of the calcium, monitor the neurological status, establish the seizure precautions. Okay, we have to advise a patient to eat calcium rich food. Okay, what are the calcium rich food? The calcium which present in the, where is present calcium? Yes, in the milk, yes or no? As well as the bones of the chicken, yes or no? That is a direct form of the calcium, isn't it? No. So advise a patient to take the calcium rich food. Okay, now next condition we'll see hypercalcemia. Means what? Excessive, the calcium level more than 5 milliequivalent per liter. That condition we called hypercalcemia. So what are the causes? Hyperparathyroidism, prolonged immobilizations, thiazide diuretics, and a large dose of vitamin A and D. These are the causes. So what are the clinical manifestations? The muscle weakness, nausea and vomiting, lethargy, confusion, constipations, the cardiac arrest in the high level of the calcium. Okay, these are the clinical manifestations. Now we'll see what are the nursing interventions. Is eliminate the calcium from the diet. Tell the patient to have the restricted calcium in the food because the body have high calcium level, isn't it? Monitor the neurological status, increase the fluid. Okay, administer the calcitonin. Next we'll see the magnesium. Okay, so normal serum magnesium, as we all know, 1.5 to 2.4 milliequivalent per liter, isn't it? No. So that is a condition, abnormal condition is called hypomagnesemia. Okay, hypomagnesemia, that is magnesium level is less than 1.5 milliequivalent per liter. That condition we call hypomagnesemia. What are the causes? The chronic alcoholism, the diarrhea, or any disruption in the small bowel function. These are the causes. And also, diabetic ketoacidosis and the TPN. Okay, then we'll see what are the causes. Okay, reduced intake, dieting, unbalanced diet, over dieting, that you're going to have the less the nutrition contained food, isn't it? No, and also the impaired absorption or malabsorption syndrome, and increased very increased excretions due to some alcoholisms, laxative abuse, the treatment with the diuretics, digitalis, and all. These are the causes. Now, what are the clinical manifestations? Is a neuromuscular irritability is present, positive. These are the signs I will show in the next slide. Okay, Chosticks and Trousseau signs. Okay, and EKG changes with a prolonged, just you say ECG changes, is not a EKG, is a ECG changes. Okay, and may occur with a hypo together. If the patient have hypocalcemia, the patient may have this hypomagnesemia. It will present along with this hypokalemia and the hypocalcemia. Okay, these are the clinical manifestations. What are the nursing interventions? Of course, maintain the intake output chart, very important, and we have to administer the IV magnesium replacement or per oral magnesium replacement is very much important, that include the magnesium sulfate, and give the calcium gluconate if accompanied with the hypocalcemia. Then monitor for the dysphagia, okay, difficulty in swallowing, isn't it? No, and give the soft foods, measure the vital signs closely. These are the nursing interventions. Okay, so what are the food which high in the magnesiums? Mainly the main source is, the rich source is the green leafy vegetables, which are very rich in magnesium. And also the nuts, legumes, which contain high magnesium content. And also the seafoods, chocolates. Okay, now we'll see what is hypermagnesemia. The magnesium level is more than 2.5 milliequivalent per liter. That condition we call hypermagnesemia. What are the causes? The renal failure, untreated diabetic ketoacidosis, excessive use of antacids and laxatives. These are the causes for this hypermagnesemia. What are the clinical manifestations? It's a flushed face, the skin warmth. Have you seen this a flushed skin? The reddish skin, like a bulgy skin. Okay, the bulgy, the puffy skin. Okay, and also the mild hypotension is present, the heart block, the chances are more, and the cardiac arrest, the muscle weakness, and even the paralysis. These are the clinical manifestations. Okay, and this is what the renal impact due to the abnormality of the electrolyte, isn't it? No, so reflex decrease will happen, the ECG changes will present, nausea, vomiting is there, appearance of the fleshed skin is there, clear? No, lethargy also presents. Clear? These are the renal, means related to the kidney. Okay, that we call hypermagnesemia. So what are the interventions for that? So monitor the magnesium level, monitor the respiratory rate, monitor the cardiac rhythm, increase the fluid, and IV calcium for the emergency. Next we see phosphorus. As we all know, the normal the serum phosphorus level is at 2.5 to 4.5 milligram per 100 ml. Okay, the phosphate level the vary inversely to a calcium level, isn't it? No, the high calcium is equal to low phosphate. Okay, this is what the normal condition. Okay, now we'll see abnormal thing now. Hypophosphatemia. See, phosphatemia, that indicates phosphorus only, isn't it? The phosphorus level less than 2.5 milliequivalent per liter, that we call hypophosphatemia. What are the causes? Mostly like to occur with a overzealous intake of the administration or the simple carbohydrates. Okay, then the severe protein or the calorie malnutrition. So that are the causes for this hypophosphatemia. What are the clinical manifestations? The muscle weakness, seizures or coma, irritability, fatigue, confusions, numbness. And what are the nursing interventions? The preventions is the goal, isn't it? No. The treatment is better than the prevention, isn't it? No, prevention is better than the treatment, isn't it? So then IV phosphorus for the severe cases and the prevention of the infection. Monitor the phosphorus level is very important and increase the oral intake of the phosphorus rich food. Very simple. See, if you are writing the any hypo means the decreased condition, oral intervention, it will increase in the food. If the patient have increase body concentration of the electrolyte, then what is the diet? We have to decrease in the diet. Very simple. Now vice versa we have to write. Clear? We'll see what are the food rich in the phosphorus. The milk and milk products, the poultry, the whole grains, the organ meats, nuts, fish, which are the very rich in the phosphorus content. We'll see what is hyperphosphatemia. The phosphorus level is more than 4.5 milliequivalent per liter. That condition we call hyperphosphatemia. What are the causes? The renal failure, chemotherapy, hypoparathyroidism, then high phosphate intake. Then what are the clinical manifestations? Is a tetany, muscle weakness, similar to the hypocalcemia because of the reciprocal relationship, isn't it? So nursing interventions are the treat the underlying causes, avoid the phosphorus rich food. Very simple. So any questions are there? Okay, you can feel free to clear your doubts in the group. Okay, I hope you understood this class very well. See you in the next class. Thank you. Take care.